So it's really impacting publishers of content. Half the people in the poll said that leads are up this year. Half the people said leads are down. So this is the part where I think we all need to be aware within the franchise sector of how things may change. Hello, welcome to the Franchise Marketing Show. Hi, Mark.
Hello.
We've decided to change the format a bit, haven't we?
Yes.
The Franchise Marketing Show's taken quite a few different formats over the last few years, but now we thought we'd just chat about things in the franchise world related to marketing and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's good that we change the format and don't just stick to like one thing. I like the idea. I think we should keep doing the show stuff as well when we're at the shows, doing those interviews, but a regular thing of we talk about stuff that comes up. I think that's a good idea.
Well, we often find ourselves talking about it in the office.
Yeah.
And actually, we should just talk about it on camera. And hopefully someone will get some value from some of the things we talk about.
Now it just means we won't talk to each other in real life.
It's true.
About the Euros or football. And
that's true. That's true. But yeah, this time, Sean posted something Sean Goldsmith, posted something very interesting in the Franchise Mastermind group. And I actually think it's a massive discussion. He put a poll up. So essentially, there are people, and this is very true, lots of reports that people are seeing website traffic declining by 70% since Google launched some AI overview, and we can talk a bit more detail about what that is, in the US recently. And the kind of poll he put up was, are people seeing a dramatic decline in leads, or are people seeing leads are up, and just getting an idea for volume of leads around places. I think actually it's really hard to define in that way. It's a huge kind of discussion point, which is why I thought it'd be good to have a chat about it.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how AI is affecting people across the board. I love having these conversations, like whether it's about like if they're using it as a tool, or I was talking to someone the other day about how Adobe are using AI. So like on Adobe Premiere, they're using AI to like take people's work and then develop their own AI, like video and photo and whatever. So there's a discussion around that potentially in the future as well. So,
yeah, it's a massive discussion point. And on this one, I think there's two elements. I think there's what's happening now, and then trying to, like you say, like how is it going to develop in the future? Yeah. I think what's happened now, and these reports, like what Sean posted, is true. So in the US, Google launched AI overview. So if you make a search for something, it will give you search results, but at the top, it also gives you an AI-generated overview answering your question.
So like a paragraph about...
Yeah, so it's using AI to surf the internet and like give you a really good kind of detailed answer very quickly, which makes sense because it from a user experience on Google, you then don't have to sift through different websites and things. Google are condensing it all into one answer. Now, clearly, that's going to impact people then going down the search rankings and clicking on different things within Google. But where that's impacting is quite specific, I think. So it's really impacting publishers of content, blogs, information websites, even potentially news websites, where people historically, if you've Googled, I'm trying to think of the kind of things you're sat at home. Yeah, you're sat at home and, I don't know, my son might say, what are the 10 largest mountains in the world? That kind of question, which we all tend to Google with all the time.
Let's see what I've Googled, if there's anything that comes
I don't know if we want to know what you Googled. But it's...
I Googled Camp David because I wanted to know, like, I won't see pictures of it, but there's like 3 pictures of it.
Right, okay, yeah. So it's those kind of things. So let's say you did Google what are the 10 largest mountains in the world. Yeah. Historically, there would have been, you would look at news articles, you would look at information websites, you'd read about large mountains, that kind of thing. Google are now condensing all of that, and it will just give you the answer. Yeah, AI will go through and give you the answer. So what that's doing, AI overview, is taking all the traffic away from all those sites people would typically click on to find the answer, because it's just giving them the answer. And when you think about it, this is how AI is going to go, because at some point we're all going to, well, we kind of do already, but this will be more kind of wider spread, that we have an AI assistant that we ask these questions. We won't even search for it, if that makes sense. So it's a move towards that. So the people that have seen this massive decline in traffic are the publisher, blog, people that have had long-term blogs on particular topics. All of their traffic's been taken away to this AI overview. So there's definitely a huge drop-off for a lot of people. If you kind of then bringing that back into franchising, well, it could impact. Like if on your website, so every franchise sells a product or service. If someone is searching for that product or service, AI overview may give an answer, but it's more likely people are still going to do what they've traditionally done and looked through to find a product or service that suits them. So I don't think that's crossing over at the moment for people searching for a product or service.
Would it be in the future? Would you be able to like pay Google to like give the answer like in the AI assistant?
Well, that
so they'll be like, oh, what's the? So my Google just spoke to me then.
Yeah, that's AI didn't like what we're talking about.
So could you say like what are the best cleaning, like is it cleaning franchise or something, and then that top one could pay to be in that answer?
Yeah, well, this is the interesting thing, isn't it? Because probably Google, more than any other of these massive tech businesses, are the most in danger from AI. Because actually, if we all start trusting AI to give us answers, and we're all using ChatGPT, and there becomes a point where we don't really need Google as much, Google are in big trouble because their revenue comes from Google Ads. Could you pay to have your answer coming up into an AI search? Fundamentally, that kind of goes against the purpose of having an AI assistant, doesn't it? If Google can rig the answers they do based on what someone pays, I think that takes the authority away from Google being a.
But it's what they've always done, really, isn't it? So like
it is, yeah. So they're very clear saying this is a sponsor. Yeah. So maybe they'll say the 3 best cleaning franchises you can invest in are, these are free potential and also we've got a sponsored couple you could look at as well. Maybe like could, and this is why I think this topic is really interesting because it's kind of never ending, and that's what I was saying from Sean's question. It wasn't easy enough to answer in a thing, why I thought it was a really good discussion point.
Did you read the comments on Sean's post?
Yeah, it was mainly me and Sean having a chat. But I think so. The polls. So half the people in the poll said that leads are up this year. Half the people said leads are down. Leads are probably not the right poll to put there because actually this is more talking about traffic. Now I think, as I said, I don't think when someone's searching for a product or service directly, that's impacting the traffic some of them see. Where it could impact, and this is the really interesting part I think people probably need to think about. Let's take home care, because that's a franchise everyone knows about. Historically, it would make a lot of sense. I'm not saying it doesn't still make sense for home care companies to do a lot of content around, let's say, dementia. Because people would search for dementia care and they may come across a particular home care brand's website. Once they get to the website, they'll then see the services and it can drive really relevant traffic. It's that part of people's websites where this AI overview could be impacting because it's that kind of question. If you search Google about how do I care for someone with dementia, the AI overview could give you an answer, which then stops you looking down the search and you're not picking up those organic clicks. That's the bit which I think AI is going to impact first. I don't think it impacts someone searching home care provider because they're looking for a home care service. I still think Google will work in the same way. So it's definitely taking traffic away, but not directly at this stage for products or services, which is where franchising obviously fits. The only place I think it is a concern for franchisors is if they've done lots of work over years with all this content, which feeds people lots of information and ranks really well in Google, that could be taken away. One of the things which was also kind of mentioned was about listing sites, franchise listing sites. They are potentially in a bit of danger because if someone is generally searching about franchising, like for more information on franchising, those websites rank really highly, but that could be where AI overview starts taking some of that traffic. So there's so many different elements to it. Really, it's hard to say, but I don't think it's something franchisors at this stage, and I say that with a big asterisk, like this stage should have major concerns about, but some other way it's going to impact definitely in the future.
So is it only in America at the moment? They're just trialling it there?
No, I don't know if it's completely everyone in America is using it. I think that could be the case, but they have started to roll it out in other places. I did a search for something and I got an AI overview.
Okay, so it's certain searches.
It's certain searches. I don't know whether that's because I'm also signed up for Google, but it's not called Bard anymore, is it? Google's AI.
Oh, right, no. I forgot what it was called the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, it's Bard.
Yeah, it's not now though, is it? I don't think.
No.
I should know that really. But I am signed up for that. So I don't know whether that's why I saw it, but it is starting to roll out. So I think there's every chance you could see it. And it would be interesting if people have seen an impact. The things I've read and seen, and I've watched a few videos on it, are people that have run blogs for 20 years on a very niche topic that probably hold a really high ranking on Google. All of a sudden, in the US, all of that search traffic they get, loads of it is diverting through to AI overview, which, is devastating for some people.
So I'd be interested to know, like, how do you use voice search at the moment? Because you've said a lot that's like the future of search. How do you use it?
Yeah, well, I don't really, but this is where I think, so this is the part where I think we all need to be aware within the franchise sector of how things may change, or will change, to be fair, over the next number of years. I always kind of go back to the Bill Gates quote. I think it was Bill Gates that said it, but that we like massively overestimate the change in 2 years, but dramatically underestimate the change in 10 years. And I think with this kind of thing, that works really well. I don't think in the next 2 years there'll be a dramatic change, but then the pace things are changing, who knows. But in 10 years, the way we search for products or services will be completely different to the way we do now. I don't know what that looks like, but I think in 10 years, I think if I spoke to my 13-year-old son when he's 23, he will think we were crazy that we used to type things into Google for information. Yeah. Now, how that develops out with tech and how it changes, we don't know. But I watch him using a phone and smart speakers, and he uses voice notes for everything. He asks questions of smart speakers in a way that I don't think we would as much. We may use it a bit, but every day we probably still use Google all the time. Yeah. So that transition's coming, and then added to that AI, where we're going to probably all have our own personalized AI assistant that knows everything we do. They know where we shop, what we buy, what time we wake up in the morning, what time we leave the house, what we like, what we don't like, what we watch on TV, all of that stuff. And that AI will know us so well that we'll probably trust the answers it gives us when we ask for certain things. So it could be in 10 years, we trust that AI so much, they know our job, it links to our LinkedIn profile, they know our interests, our skills. When we say, what franchise should we invest in 10 years' time, I'm pretty certain it might even be a hologram talking back, like, who knows? We're asked this kind of hologram of a person, what franchise should we invest in? And this person says, well, I think you should look at these 5 opportunities because your skills would work perfectly for this. And I know how much money you've got because your bank account, and it's this kind of investment level that we trust. And then that's where it will go. But I think that's 10 years rather than 2 years. But voice will be a big part of that, won't it? This is where Google are so exposed, really, because I do think if it gets to that point, will people still use Google? I don't think they will in the way that they do now. That's for sure. In 10 years' time.
Yeah, we've got speakers everywhere, so I'm just talking into the speakers.
It will be, won't it? I mean, if you watch a lot of future tech, you won't have it's highly likely that in 10 years you won't carry around a device in the same way that we do now. Hopefully we haven't got microchips in our head instead. But who knows? Like that, the pace it's changing.
It'd be like wearable first, I think, wouldn't it? Like there's glasses and watches there.
Yeah. But they haven't. This is the other thing with it. Like the tech might be there, but there has to be a massive shift in consumer behaviour. That's why I think we can overestimate a bit what can happen in 2 years. Because for suddenly people not to be searching in Google, consumer behaviour has to completely shift to the point where people are happy to just ask a speaker or ask a device that they're wearing. People have had wearables now for ages. We've had glasses that come out kitted with all this stuff that have never really caught on. So I still think there's a massive shift to get to this huge change, which will come in 10 years. Like I'm convinced in 10 years there will be a huge shift. But that's why I'm also convinced in 2 years it won't I don't think there will be differences.
Yeah, there'll be bigger iPhones and more cameras on the iPhone.
Yeah, for now. But at some point it will change.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's a little bit worrying, but like it's sort of exciting at the same time.
As with everything, isn't there? I think now more than ever, I think it's just so important to keep on top of what's happening the trends and where it could go.
Yeah,
but it's
especially for business owners.
Especially for business owners. But it's so hard to predict what it will do. I just think at the moment it's just so important to keep on top of the changes, what's happening, which we can discuss on our podcast.
Yeah. I like the idea of like if someone posts something, it's interesting, and then we talk about it.
Yeah,
I think that's a good.
Yeah, no,
format.
I think it works well. And when I saw this, I was just like, it's actually such a massive topic, and it's really interesting because each month I think you could talk about it, and there would be
a new AI thing that's happened.
Yeah, which is going to dominate probably a lot of the things we talk about. But as of today, the only thing I would say is that from a paid ad point of view, there's been a big shift in the last year.
Yeah.
And I definitely think from a kind of paid advertising point of view, AI is starting to have a positive impact. So Google have launched, and it's been around for a while now, but I think it's certainly becoming more prominent, Performance Max campaigns, which rather than relying upon someone searching for what you do, you give Google a range of assets and Google go and find the people that they think have the highest intent and drive the traffic back. So it could be they show a search ad, but it could be that they know someone's been on a competitor's website 3 days ago. So next time they go on YouTube, we'll show your video or show a banner.
Like you said earlier, if Google knows everything about everyone, then it's going to be really specific with its ads, like really like down to the individual.
That's the thing, and that's the way it's moving. And because privacy laws are getting tighter, they're having to find other ways to target people. So I think that's really interesting. Like we're seeing that working really, really well now across lots and lots of brands. Just relying upon things that worked 2 or 3 years ago. It's not the same for every sector. I think that's the other thing with franchising. Like every sector will be completely different in terms of what works and doesn't work. But I think those Performance Max campaigns, and I think probably in the last 6 months, the biggest shift I've seen is in meta ads with the AI targeting. And this one's really interesting because I think if you looked at a kind of graph of meta ads being working really, really well, 10 years ago, brilliant. And then they've been on like a gentle decline. And ever since Zuckerberg got lots of trouble in Congress, you haven't been able to target people as accurately. Like 10 years ago, in the UK, Experian data went into Facebook. Electoral roll data went into Facebook. You had the whole Cambridge Analytica thing, and Facebook knew everything about everyone. They knew your credit rating, they knew your household income, they knew how many people lived in your house. So it was really you could target people really well. Once all the Cambridge Analytica and Zuckerberg got in trouble, all of those kind of third-party data feeds just got kicked out. They couldn't use them anymore. So Facebook only really knew over the last few years you can only target people based on what they knew about you, so what you did on Facebook. So if you liked a car, they're going to put you in an audience that you like cars. They don't know if you're a parent or not anymore, but if you've got lots of pictures of children of a certain age, they'll class you as a parent based on the pictures that you post. And actually, if you didn't use Facebook and Instagram that much for posting stuff, they didn't really know anything about you. So the targeting got really weak. But they've now launched what they call Advantage Plus, which they've actually made standard across all campaigns now. So now you say to Meta when you run ads, these are the kind of people I want to target, but actually use your AI to go and find anyone you think will be interested in our adverts. And what that's done, I don't know if anyone, I think everyone would have noticed this. Historically, if you go onto Facebook, you get retargeted by the products or services you've looked at. But have you noticed that now you get retargeted by products or services of competing products that you've looked at?
Okay.
So let's say you look for storage. You might get retargeted by that storage company, but you're probably also going to see ads for a range of other storage companies because they're using AI and their pixel to say, well, we know this person's looking for this, so let's show them relevant ads. And I think that has made meta ads much more effective. That's where AI is working really well from a digital ads point of view.
Just quickly before we end, does your phone and your speaker listen to what it's saying? Because I've got a specific thing that I've never searched, and it's very specific. So it was the Ray-Ban sunglasses with the camera in.
Yep.
Never searched them. My mother-in-law mentioned it. She's like, I wanted to get them, and then suddenly I'm seeing it all over everywhere. It's like on YouTube, it comes up on ads.
Yeah.
This guy.
I've had this,
like the next day.
Yeah. I've had this instance loads. I think, I don't know. I think probably yes somehow.
They're saying they're not.
Yeah, I think there must be. Well, I mean, the speakers when you sign up for the T's and C's, they do listen. So they have to listen because they're listening for you to prompt it. So I think there is constantly data feeding in from everything that we do. Even if you've got an iPhone, Siri's listening to, waiting for you to ask it something. So it's definitely listening. How that feeds into ads, I don't know. Whether there's like encrypted data that then they can market on. I think the reality is there's some sort of connection. What I've never been sure of, it's like when you're looking to buy a new car and you look at a particular car, you then see that car everywhere, but you don't think you've ever seen it before.
Okay, yeah.
So you become a bit more aware of that.
There is a name for that. It's
yeah. And I wonder whether that's part of it. Maybe you had seen ads for that, but then you're just more hyper aware because you spoke about
it. Yeah. Oh,
I don't know.
It's pretty specific.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me.
I would not be surprised at all.
I think with Meta, if you think, and this is why I think the AI targets are really interesting, if you think of all of the places Meta can record what you do, it could be like listening, but then it could be a WhatsApp conversation. They own WhatsApp, Instagram, all these different kind of things. There's so many ways that they could build you into audiences using AI to say, well, this person said this or done this. We think they'll be really interested in this. Let's say they've kind of worked out you moving house and you're running Meta ads that could be relevant for someone moving house. They're going to start showing you those ads. So I think AI is starting to have a real positive impact on digital advertising in making your ads more relevant to people seeing them, which I think is a good thing.
Okay, cool. We could probably talk about this for ages, I think. But
yeah.
I do have a call at 10 o'clock. So.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a great topic, and I think it's one we'll talk about loads more. I'm fascinated to see where all of this goes.
It's really easy to have an interesting conversation about it, I think.
Yeah, and within marketing, well, within digital marketing specifically, it's the biggest thing that we have to be aware of. I'm convinced that everything will change. I'm just not convinced it's going to change overnight, but we've certainly got to keep our eye on it. So.
Cool. All right.
Cool. Thank you for listening to the Franchise Marketing Show. If you've got any specific questions, actually, in our new format of chatting about certain things, let us know. Give us a topic. We're going to keep our eyes peeled for particular topics that we think we could chat about. I'm sure there'll be lots of AI ones.
Yeah.
But for now, thank you for listening.
Bye.